Hello and welcome to another episode of Tech Condo. My name is Petra and it's what you can see right here. Tech Condo live every single Saturday at 7 p.m. Central European Time. That is if you live in Europe. Of course, 6 p.m. if you live in the UK. I believe 1 p.m. if you live on the eastern side of the US, and 11 a.m. if you live, well, on the Pacific Ocean of the US. So welcome. Here we go indeed, like MT is saying. Yes, we are definitely back, and also hopefully back for a long period of time on the Saturday. I can tell you that's not going to be the case. We're going to talk about that very soon. Jason is also in the house. Welcome. Really appreciate you for taking the time. And the same thing goes also for Raul. And indeed, MT won the first prize again for this week. He was at already 550. He was saying SRT for the win, like Eric said. Yes, like Eric said, indeed. And also welcome to TVJ. Welcome to the show. All right, so today we have a follow-up on last week's show, which was of course about the church service that we talked about for a long time. So again, a quick recap. We've done a 3 years sprint with two people, myself and Eric, another Eric that we know here. We both were working on the church service every single week. We didn't skip any weeks. Actually, sometimes multiple times a week. After 177 episodes, it's time to move on due to the fact that, of course, it's not sustainable with only two people. That's the reason why last week we've discussed the new setup, which was really cool, but there was one tiny thing missing, and that was a very important one. It's because you can make a nice church service stream all you like, but if you want to also have it on a local TV station, then you do need to do something else. Now, granted, it might seem that a lot of people that are not familiar with video productions, they think, hey, but it's also already on Facebook or it's already on a website, so maybe you can just use that, right? No, that's not, well, you can, but then you have a bit of a challenge because you might see some overlays popping up because somebody's hovering over a piece of video, and then you've got this nice bar below or a logo somewhere here. That is not yours. So that's something that we didn't want to do. So we wanted to do it differently. I discussed it very briefly what we did until now. We actually, from my studio over here on my laptop right here, I actually set up a vMix call to the vMix system at the local station, and that was our connection. Well, it was really stable. We had we actually never had an issue with it. So absolutely never. It was actually very, very stable. However, this time around, at the church, they don't have any laptops, or they do have one computer, but the computer is underdimensionized. It's just an i3 processor or something like that. So it's not really a big computer. It's also a very small Optiplex Dell system. So we wanted to offload as much as we could, and we also want to make it in a way that people do not have to think about it. So, and I forgot to bring the box over here. So I can, of course, go very quickly to get that box. Just give me a few seconds. See, I forgot something. This will take about 1 minute, or not even 1 minute, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Just give me a few seconds. There you go. The box. That's the box. So it's this is the KiloView, and is that good English? I'm doubting that this is good English. Easy, the video transmission, and it's exactly this model right here, the E1S NDI. Hey Petra, you can also do NDI. Yes or no? the thing is that with NDI is extremely good if it comes to local area networking. Actually, all of my cameras in the studio are NDI, so I love it. All my products are NDI based, though with connection over the internet, I do not like NDI, even though I know that the later versions, NDI 5 for example, do have it built in a bit, but I'm not yet convinced. That it's the best solution, and that's the reason why I've chosen for SRT as a way to move that forward. But before I show you what's in the box right here, this one right here, I have to admit that I need to explain to you maybe what the SRT is. So SRT stands for Secure Reliable Transport. Well, secure was really good, reliable was really good, and transport sounds also really good. And it's actually what it is. So what you can do with SRT is that you can actually have a point-to-point connection. So you have on one hand side, you've got a caller, so you are calling something else, and the call that you're doing, and we're going to do a demo in just a bit, but I'm just going to explain it very quickly now. So you're calling from, for example, this computer here in the studio. I can call a computer or a box at the station, or I can have a box here calling a computer at the station. That is exactly what we do with the church service. So that's calling. I can also, on the other side, have a listener, and that's just listening for a signal from a caller that says, okay, I want to give you my video. Do you really want to get my video? Yes, I want to have your video. And then it makes a point-to-point connection, and from there on, you have that connection established. Now, it's also very low latency. You can have it really like 67 milliseconds or something. It's extremely good for that. Now, I have not chosen to do that. I've actually added quite a few milliseconds just for the sake of making sure that it's going to go well. And I don't really care, to be honest, if it's going to be 1 second later or 2 seconds later or even half a second. I don't care, because it doesn't matter. But in some cases, it does matter, and then it's really great that you have that functionality. The amount of latency that you've added does mean that you also have more caching possibilities to make sure that it is indeed more reliable than it is. And we will also touch upon how you can see how much milliseconds do you need to add as a delay to make sure that it really works perfectly. Now, this is also going to replace the liveU unit that I have been using the last couple of years. Not that this is not great; it is still great, but it's overkill for what it is. So for what we have right now with the church, we do no longer need a liveU system. We can do that with that box right here. Now, I am a little bit lying because, of course, this box is actually really empty. That is because it's actually not even here. The device is not even here. It's actually at the church. And I made some videos today to show you how the device looks like, how it's built in. And I also have a video on how about the web interface, because the device comes with a web interface so that I can show that to you. But I'm gonna do that at the latest segment of this video, because first and foremost I want to show you a little bit around with the SRT setup so that you get acquainted with it. And there is already another video on it, but I wanted to redo it a little bit because, well, it's now a year later, and maybe also you have some live questions that you'd like. There are some questions maybe coming in, so I will be checking that out. But before I do that, also some very quick greetings. Greetings from Vincent. Really nice that you're here. TVJ says using Facebook for transmission would also mean dealing with an unprecedented delay. Correct. Welcome from Nigeria. Welcome. Appreciate you for taking the time. TVJ says a lot of major networks in the US are using SRT. Yeah, because it's reliable and it really works like a charm. Though It was really iffy if I would have this video today. But I'm going to tell you why in just a bit, because it maybe sounds very easy, and it is really easy in essence, but it's quite difficult to match your network. Garrett is in the house as well, a bit late, but I'm now here. Greetings from Stuttgart in Germany. Really appreciate that. And a question. Good morning, Petra. Would this also work to remote control an ATEM mini switcher? No, I don't think so, unfortunately. Though that's a very good point to look at, because I do have some ideas on how to do that. So that might be a nice new project for me to discuss, to think about, and to work with, because I do think that this is very important. But what I'm thinking about, and I will figure that out, is that you should have a VPN connection, because ATEM does not allow connectivity from outside of its own network. So it needs to think that you are part of the own network. So then you need to have a VPN connection. So then you can have a VPN connection between location A and location B, and then you should be able to do that. I'm pretty sure that that's possible. However, I don't have the equipment to do that, I think, at the moment. So I need to figure that out. Sport flow, what is the difference between the E1 and the new E3? I will have to verify that for you. I did look at both of them, but of course budget is also an important one, so I've chosen for the cheapest version, because we're not really going to touch it, but we're going to talk about it anyway. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about SRT, what it is and how does it look like. And for me, it's the most easy way to do it is within my own network. So let's start with that, and I will also talk a little bit about the network settings in between. I cannot show that to you at the moment. What that looks like. I am preparing a new network setup based on a Dream Machine Pro by Ubiquiti, but that will take another month or so, I think, before I'm really going to start about that. And it might be that leads to some unforeseen issues with the network, but we'll figure that out. Okay. Enough blah blah. Let's talk about the setup. Well, let's start with this. Oh. Get the correct screen. So this is a little bit daunting. My excuses there for that. This is the network, my vMix setup that I have running for the show. As you can see on the right hand side, this is what you see at the moment, and you see me here a bit bigger still, but we are going to set up a SRT connection, and we have to make a first decision. Who's going to be the caller? Is that this computer, or is it the other computer that I have next to me at the moment, or which one will it be? Is this the caller, or is the other one the listener? I think, looking at where we are at the moment, I would like to be in charge. So I would like this computer to be a caller. So it will effectively try to call a different computer. So in order to do that, I need to set up a external setup. So and that is what you can do here in this cogwheel. Hopefully you can see that. It's down below. If I click on that, you can see here SRT, and at the moment everything is disabled on my system. So I'm not pushing out any SRT signal at the moment. Now I am gonna I'm gonna create one by hitting the output NDI SRT setting, clicking on that. And you will see this screen. Now I will try to avoid having that tunnel effect. So here you go. So here you have all the functionalities that you have. And you see here I have not one, not two, but 4 outputs. And actually you can see here that I actually have one output set to a separate track. I think that's no longer needed. So I will change that like so. not related to the setup at the moment, but what is related to the setup is that I can now choose to have output 1, which is this one right here, that it will and get a SRT connection as a caller. So I then hit this cogwheel after the output, click on that, and there you will find this output signal. And here you can select which bus of audio you can use. I really use the buses quite a lot due to the fact that especially if I have a vMix call, I want to give my interviewee different audio formats than I hear or you hear. For example, if you want to have some music under the as a filler, and that person on the other side doesn't really like it, I can then remove that audio from the bus. So that's the reason why I have these buses. You can have multiple buses. I only use A and B, but for this example, we're going to use the master, which is the audio that you are actually listening to at the moment. There's no alpha channel needed. Alpha is, of course, a transparency. And here you got enable SRT. You have to select that. So this, by clicking this, it will automatically, once I hit OK after this configuration, it will automatically pop up as an SRT source or target. So a caller is the system, the computer, the encoder decoder box that initiates the connection. It doesn't say anything about pushing or pulling the video, but it says something about initiation. I want this computer to be a caller. The listener only listens to a port. Once it gets something, it will then automatically show it, and otherwise it will not show it. And rendezvous is actually that you don't know up front. So what you do then is that you, on both ends, configure the SRT connection in a way that on both ends you can initiate the connection. And the first one that initiates the connection is the caller by default. So that's the way that rendezvous works. But for clarity's sake, I will use this one as a caller. Do I need a host name as a caller? Well, no, not really. Well, yes, I do actually. I do need a host name for that. So I will need to check that on my other system. This is the other system. What is my IP address right here? Am I looking at your screen? Yes. And you don't see my screen, the screen, I think. Wait a sec. Let me make it easier. Let me cancel this one. Let me change. Oh, you do see that, I think, or not? Wait a sec. Let me remove this one quickly. There you go. So this is the listener system that we were just talking about. And I am going to check what the IP address is of this system very quickly. So this is IP config. So this is 172. That's the one that I want. 172. So let's go back to this one right here. There you go. And then open it up again. Unfortunately, I need to redo some steps here. Sorry. External SRT. Go here. Then, oh, I didn't save that. That's okay. I didn't. Cogwheel. All right. Then let's do that again. Enable SRT caller, and then it's 192.168.100. Oh, 100.172. That's what we're gonna call. And the port number is 10,000. Let's make it 10.123. So 10.123. That's That's the one. The latency we don't know yet, so I think that this is good. So I'm gonna add that, and we're gonna say okay. And now you see that on top of my screen, all the way on the top, right there, there's a yellow SRT. So that means that the SRT is now connected on this computer. Now, before I continue, let's check if there are some comments or maybe some additions that you want to have. Graham says something is fishy right here. Just give me a few seconds. I use ZeroTier to create a VPN. This allows me to control my ATEM from anywhere. ZeroTier runs on my PC and MikroTik routers. There you go. Nice. Good call. Good and interesting. And for some information about that, look at Aaron Parecki's for what is it? Sorry. For some videos on VLAN. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Some broadcasters use a 4-channel audio SRT. It should be possible with vMix, but never tested with vMix. Yeah, I don't really use that for what I do, so I'm not really looking into that. But of course, that should be possible. And caller and listener modes don't have anything to do with who is sending or receiving the stream. It's merely to initiate. Yeah, exactly. I hope that I was clear on that, but that's good that you say that again. It's really about the initial connection. Correct. Okay, cool. Okay, so quick recap. We just created on this computer a SRT caller, and now on the other computer we will be. And then I need to go. I need to open this up. Boom, there you go. And on this computer right here, we're gonna add a listener. So that we're doing that a little bit differently than the other one. So this is where you go into the add input bar right here. Click on this. And then you go to stream SRT. And let me remove this one because that's not related. Again, here you see that you can use this one for more than only SRT. But this is where you can actually set the SRT connection, so you can actually have it as a caller, a listener, or a rendezvous. And in this case, we're going to make this one a listener. And we're going to have this on the port 10.123. That's, I believe, the one that I've used. You can set a passphrase to it as well. So with a passphrase, you are able to give it some more security if you like. And you can also provide a stream ID if you'd like. I'm lazy. I'm not going to do that. So boom. That's it. And as you can see, we are actually already... well, you cannot really see that. Let me see how I can show you that that's working. Oh yeah, there you go. So here you can see that actually it is working. I am actually sending out a SRT stream to that computer at the moment, and you can see me right there. So that's how easy it is. It's listening to port 10.123. It's also the caller is performing that, has verified that, and I am literally checking out the SRT stream. But is it actually going as we planned it? Now this is where it becomes really easy, or interesting. So I'm gonna again go to the screen. So there's a little bit of an inception. So now you are actually looking at my computer and then the SRT connection. So I'm actually at the listener side of things at the moment. And what we can do now is that below where you see my mouse move, you'll also see these nice colored bars, red, yellow, and green. If you click on that, you can here see that there is a SRT tab. If you click on that, you and you look at this, you see a RTT. And this I forgot always what it means, but this is basically a return, the time it takes to have a full return of a video signal. So from my computer, my laptop that I use for Taekwondo, to the other computer that I'm using for testing purposes at the moment, and back. That was 3 milliseconds. That is what it took, 3 milliseconds. So that is how big it is. Now, rule of thumb is that if you'd like to have a reliable connection, then the rule of thumb is that you take that amount of milliseconds of the RTT times 2. So if it's 3, then next time you just make it not 3, but you make it 6. So how do you do that then? Good question. So let's check that again here. So let's go back. So let's go back to the external. Then maybe it's good to show you that I have a color now. Last time that we've checked here, everything was disabled. Now this one is not disabled anymore. And then I can go into the output NDI SRT settings. And I can go into the cogwheel again, right here. Click on that. And then you will find here the amount of milliseconds. So it's set to 200 milliseconds, and actually 6 milliseconds would be enough for me. So, but granted, because we're internal, I'm just going to make it 100 still. But 6 milliseconds is enough for a reliable setup. So that is the whole shebang if it comes to SRT. So again, quick recap: the caller versus listener versus rendezvous only says something about the initiation of the video. So the caller initiates the video at all times. The listener always listens, and if you have rendezvous, then we don't know upfront who is going to be the initiator, but the first one will win. And then and then once that is done, a point-to-point connection is established, and then we're feeding from the encoder to the decoder the video like we just did. And I'm still looking at myself right there in almost no delay, so that was really good. I hope that was a little bit clear. It was always difficult to show something like that online. I didn't say anything about the network yet, but I will talk about that in just a bit. Graham says, I noticed that you had a Toledo IP6 address on your system. Have you have any experience with IPv6 on the network cameras? No, I did not. I'm still old-fashioned with the IP4. No. And MT says, for my limited understanding, an SRT connection is a one-way connection. So you need a second connection to receive some from the... Wait. Whoa. That's a bit of... receive something from the other side. It is indeed... yes, it is one way, I think. I don't know, actually. I've always assumed that, but I'm pretty sure that I'm correct. And you have so specifically, this one is really only encoding. So it actually only allows for a SRT push because it's an encoding. It does not pull it in. So that this is where this box is just an encoder and nothing more than an encoder. So that's maybe something also to be aware of. Okay, yep, I did indeed showed the statistics in just a bit. In SRT, being in color is easier for everyone because you do not have to open ports into your firewall, and that is needed if you're our listener. Yes, that brings me to the next point, indeed. So, why did I say up front that I was not 100% for sure that I would be able to make this video today? Of course, I could talk about SRT without any issues, but of course, I wanted to also show you with some evidence, between brackets, that we had a successful connection between the church and the television station, the local television station that I work for, and as a volunteer, by the way. The thing was that I've tried it from this studio to the station, and I could not get it to work. Then I tried something else. I actually took a M1 Nighthawk by Netgear. That's like a 4G modem. Switched it on, and I again tried it. Didn't work. So I was a little bit like hesitant to say, "Ooh, something is wrong," and I don't know where. So I went to the church this morning, hooked it up, and gave it an IP address, recalibrated the URLs, etc. And of course, it didn't work. So I asked my colleague at the station. I said, "Hey, can you have a look?" And actually, it was funny. He was at home and he was changing some parameters, and boom, we were all locked out of the network, but including myself. Everything was locked. It was like, oh, this is not good. But that's the way it goes, right? So he had to go to the station, and within about an hour later, he called me and said, "Hey, can you try it again?" And believe it or not, it worked like a charm. So that brings me to the also a bit more about the box that I've had. So got 3 videos for you lined up. No audio. I will remove the audio from now just in case. And the first one is about the box, and of course during that video I will be maybe pausing it just a bit, just to give myself some time to explain some stuff. So here we go. So I am at the station, and this is the box. It is by KiloView, and it is called the E1. So it is and it states it quite nicely, an encoder, H.264 SDI encoder. And actually, I have to admit, it's really good. It is also, as you can see, useful for NDI, though that is not the use case that I have had in mind for this one. And it is important to note that this was a choice of mine to pick this one because it has a good press. It's a good product. It's sturdy. The NDI part I'm not using, but it's there, so maybe in the future I can use it. But I was really interested in the SRT part, so that is maybe good to understand, even though it states NDI. As you can see, it has a plethora of ports. It has, of course, on the left hand side, the 12 volts barrel that is also that you can also screw on, so it's quite safe. Then you've got a USB connection that you can use, but you can also have in and out audio interface. But it's just a mini jack, but you can ingest additional audio to your video. Now in this case we're not going to do that. We're actually going to use the SDI in with video and audio, and the loop we're not even going to use. And then of course we've got the Ethernet port, which is really important. So I only connected on this device the 12 volt power supply, the SDI in, as you can see right here, and Ethernet port or Ethernet cable. That's it, and it's all metallic, so that the whole box is nicely done. It's a really here you go, and oh, this is also interesting. So it also so here you have the on-off switch, and you can also have a reset button, as you can see. But what is really interesting is that it also has USB and SD card. And why is that so interesting is that you can actually record what you're streaming as well on this device. So if you want to have a separate recording also of your signal, you can use this box as a recording solution as well. So that was really powerful, because that might be sometimes really important. Specifically, again, looking at the church use case, you can use it, for example, also for burials, etc. And in that case, then you can use that as a way to record it for people that cannot make it. So yeah, that's the box, and nothing more to see, I believe, here. So that is everything that it is, but it is really metallic and it is really quite capable. Next video that I have, and then I'm gonna definitely go into the questions that you've got. Again, this was of course the one that you also saw last time, but now you can see that if I press something here and 5 seconds later, you will see it also in the vMix system under below on my laptop, because that laptop is actually showing the screen of the at the station. So everything that you're changing here locally, you will see it within half a second later. You can see it on that screen. So it is working like a charm. And maybe again, let's show one more time, because if you pay close attention to the screens that are programmed out, then you see on the left hand side there's no logo, but here there is a logo on the screen itself. So you can actually see that I'm also ingesting or adding a channel logo as part of the SRT connection, which makes it very nice because we don't have to worry about it anymore. So everything that happens in the at the church can go directly without any interference to the channel, which is exactly what we like, because we also want to have the least amount of people that we are depending on. So that was a very, very good situation. Next video is about the web interface, but before I do that, let's see if there are any questions. But also remarks, like for example, greetings from India, namaste. Appreciate you coming here. And indeed, there is unfortunately no power over Ethernet at the moment, which is a bummer, because I was pleased to see that the church service actually is using Ubiquiti Unify with PoE. Though there was one unrelated to SRT, but when I switched on the TV location at the church this morning, I only had one PTZ camera that was working, and all the other 3 were not working. And I actually needed to power cycle those cameras to make it working again. And the way that I did that was that I figured out that there was one cheap network switch that was actually providing the PoE. And I think that I know why it's not working. I think that they are pushing too much watts of power over that system, and I think that that's the reason why it becomes crooked. But let's see that at a later stage. Hal says lots of choices now include the newest Dante AVH. Oh yeah. We definitely need to. I still need to think if there's anything that is happening on the NEB shop floor, because I've not checked that yet. And so in a way, but not easy, is what I'm seeing. Well, it is. Well, what is easy is now that once now that this box is there, I literally only have to switch it on. And I can also, the way that we're going to do that at the later stage, is not going to do that now, but we have this party on button, right? So that will automatically switch on everything. I'll just call it the party on switch. But everything is on that party on switch except for that SRT box at the moment. So that one I need to switch on and switch off manually. But once that is also integrated with that party on switch, then it's literally switching it on, and 20 seconds later, I have video at the station. So that is perfect. That's exactly what we'd like to see. So what does the interface look like if you want to connect it? Now, I did remove some URLs, so you will see some blurry effects going on. That's on by choice, even though it's not a big deal if you'd see it, but just for the sake of it, just for to be a little bit more safe. The box comes with a IP address that it has as a fallback scenario, and it happens to be on the same network segment as the church service the church has. So that was quite easy. It worked from the get-go, though I could not use it for streaming right there. I did need to explicitly make a DHCP, but or at least provided an IP address. But for the web interface, it worked. So here you go. This is it, 192.168.1.168. This is quite a nice, and you log on with admin. And this is what it looks like. This is the setup, as you can see. There's a complete dashboard, and you can see everything from the system. Does it work? What is the payload? That kind of stuff. You can see that I have a video signal connected, and there's also audio connected there. It's running on 1080i50, which is quite awkward because the video is actually P50, but okay. And here you see the motion JPEG snapping, and this is something that we're not using, but as you can see, if you switch, you can see it here live within half a second. This is what I'm not using, but I am using the H.264 mainstream, and this is where I actually added, as you can see, the SRT TS pushing, and I can stop it, I can start it there, but I can also add a stream, so that's what I did here. But here you see a plethora of other possibilities. So RTMP is possible, also the Apple format is possible, so it has a lot of functionality built in. And now, so I'm now adding one for the sake of clarity and to show you how it works. Now I'm clicking on that with the cogwheel again, and here you go. So here you say enable SRT, yes. You select if you want to have it as a caller. In this case, yes, I want to have it as a caller. You provided an IP address. This is just blah blah, just for the sake of it. Doesn't matter. And you give the listener port. I don't know, 5,000, 50,000 or something. And but you can go way more than that. I have chosen not to do that, but you can provide a Tech.Condo stream ID, for example. You can set an encryption. You can give it a passphrase, and I was a bit of in a mood, I would tell you. So you will see why I was in the mood. Of course not. You guys rule. And there's a lot of other additional things there, those I'm not going to touch. And I'm saving it. And then if I go back to the dashboard, you will see that you can see it right there below. Again, blurring out a little bit here. Just for the sake of it, but then here you can just start it, like boom, and that's it. It's started. Now, it's that as easy as that. You have that connection. There's also a substream, which is quality-wise way less. It's really SD. It's really meant for issues. And here you also see other possibilities. This is where you can also go there as well. But here we are talking about the setup. Here you have the video input settings, so you can show what you'd like. You can rotate it if you'd like. You can add audio if you'd like. Of course, there's basic information like passwords, location settings, firmware updates. That's all possible right there. You can actually add a network storage NAS as well. You can add overlays like I did. So I actually added the logo of the station, as you can see right there. And this is what it looks like. So you can also add alpha blending. So I actually did that right here. It was if you have less than 255, you have a little bit more alpha. So I actually added to 230, I believe. Yep, there you go. And so that means that the logo is not fully white, but a little bit transparent. You can set the host name, telnet services you can add. You can also control PTZ cameras remotely with this device. There's a lot, but it is actually in essence an NDI device, and that's the reason why these PTZ cameras are also possible, because that always runs via the NDI settings. There you go. So I think that if you look at what you can do with that device, it's a lot of functionality with just one switch that you have to switch on, and you're done. You can also stream to Facebook with it, but you know that with Facebook you need to change the key every single time, so I'm not going to do that, though that would be even more perfect than it already is. But unfortunately, that's something that we still need to do from our TV station to push it to Facebook. But that's okay. I suppose the device can decode as well. No, it cannot. No, it cannot. It's literally an encoder. So you have an encoder and you have a sister product, which is the decoder. So you can have on both sides a box, but you do need to have both boxes to have it without a computer. Now, we do not need that decoder because we have a vMix computer running at the station. And the idea is, because let's face it, this is really working quite well, I believe. At least what I've seen so far, I'm very much impressed. If this is working perfectly, the idea that I have is that I would like to have this box in public places across the city. So the civic center, the mayor's office, the the library, the theater, that kind of stuff. So that if we want to make a show on location, we don't have to worry about that. We're just going to hook up our ATEM switcher to that system, and boom, we have our remote source connected, and we can go live from wherever we are within in the city. Of course, you cannot just hook it up. You do need to, especially if you are a listener. Oh no, you can just hook it up because the caller can just push it out, but the listener is ready. So we have a separate port. We have a passphrase for it. That's the reason why I just for the sake of it removed it from the screen. But we have everything there, and we also added the alias. So we're not using an IP address, but we're actually using an alias, so that if by any chance our provider at the station decides to give us another IP address, we can actually very quickly move everything to the new setup, which is really good. So that was the SRT segment that I wanted to talk about. This is also, I think, a nice wrap-up of the church services. 3 years, 177 episodes, and now this morning I had the possibility to provide knowledge and transfer my knowledge to 5 individuals that will help me to get that church service going. I will step out more or less. I think that I will be there still for 3 months just for the sake of it. Especially this month, I will be there every single week. But next month and the month after, I will gradually, over time, be there less and less, so that in August or so, I can just say, okay, thanks guys, it was great. Have fun, do your thing, and if there is any problem on technical level or you need some additional support, I will be there still, but that's more on ad hoc basis and not so much on doing it on a rotation basis. Quick Tech Solutions, Joe Charlie and I did a SRT stream using the U-Ray boxes. This box looks a lot more user-friendly. This is, I really think that this is a good box. I'm impressed. So I think that this is a good one to take into account. I will definitely recommend to the station to purchase a few of them. I'm not going to do that myself. Graham says, I set up our system for the church I work for, but I never attend services, so they have to run the lot. Yeah. Well, of course, but this is the way it went, and but I'm really happy for the understanding about how things work. And moving on, I can only increase it and make it more better than it was. So that is the church service, and also I think that this is a good end of that series. There will most likely be 1 or 2 more this year, but definitely not on a regular basis. I think that we will still have a video on ProPresenter this year somewhere to really go in depth and say this is something that you can do with your church. Though the ProPresenter is a little bit awkward in my opinion, because I'm actually using ProPresenter for totally different reasons than for church services. And I'm also not thinking that they want to have that at our church because they don't care about that functionality, which is okay. But it might be something for you, and that's the reason why I'm definitely going to talk about that. Next week, we're going to do something which I'm actually really looking forward to, and that is a vMix replay. Now, vMix replay is a way to provide slow motion camera angles if there's a goal. I have, if all is well, I have a demo set by TJ Thompson that I can use, which I'm really happy with that I can do that. And I can then show off also maybe a controller or two, like for example a new one that is just released, which I already have. This one right here, a very nice mini replay unit, and of course we're going to talk about that and how I will use this as part of my kit moving forward. The other one I will also still use. There I also have a different replay unit, but I think that's overkill for 9 out of 10 times, and this one is really nice and also nice scalable. So that's next week. We're going to talk about something totally different, replay, and also we can briefly touch upon the X keys. Thanks, Petra. This was very informative. Well, thank you so much for being here, guys. If you like this kind of content, and you like the content that we just discussed that we're going to do next week, don't forget to like this page if you're on Facebook. Don't forget to like this video if you're on YouTube. Also, don't forget to comment. Also, after the fact, if you have any questions. And also, there's still the possibility to support the show by Snapchat, by super chats, and also the possibility, of course, to if you'd like, there's also a possibility to ask for more help. And the way that you can do that now is to go to calendly.com/techcondo. And that's where you can request for help, and that is in a way possible for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or even 2 hours. So that's I think a great way. And I will please hurry up a little bit because the price will be increasing a little bit, not so much, but a little bit moving forward. Thank you so much for being here, and I see you next week, same time, same channel, and have a fantastic weekend, guys. I don't know about you, but here it's beautiful. It's a fantastic day here at in the Netherlands. Trying to get something ready here. See you. Bye-bye.